All right, hey Paul, thanks for your question. And so I got your project here. Um, I have not changed anything. I'm just going to run the way it is and see if I can replicate what you have. Okay, so I'm going to run it. And I think you have just like very simple invoice numbers from 5,000 down, right? So 5,000 and the sales was like 100 and then 4,000 and 200, 3,000 and 300, 2, right, 400, right, 400, and then 1,000 at 500. Okay, this part is good. I like how you had that here. So you have a sentinel, which is good. So I'm going to enter 1 like you have. All right, so let's see. It shows exactly what you sent me. Right, this part seems to be sorted, right? Except the first one's not. And you also see that there's a duplicate in the invoice number here. So we lost the 100 or the 1,000 invoice. Okay, so what if I enter the second one? If I sort by sales number, okay, this seems to be correct, right? And that was your question. Why would when you enter 1, it's not sorted correctly, but the 2 is? So let's take a look. Okay, I'm gonna minimize this, and we'll leave this open on the right side so we can see. Okay, so I think this one has no change, so that's fine. The create purchase, this is where the actions kind of take place, right? So you prompt the user for invoice numbers 5 times, that's good. And then you have a while loop here to keep entering the sort, either 1 or 2. And you have to sort by invoice, sort by sell amount. And I see that you are using a sort purchase array class. Okay, so the entry goes either here or here. So let's look at the invoice first. So in your sort purchase array, so I see here one recommendation for you. Okay, I know this is just an exercise, so it's no big deal. But remember, this is a regular class. Okay, it's a class, and if these data are not, you know, when you put variables inside the class space, okay, they remain there until the program shuts down, so they persist. And if it's just a very, a local variable, in this case, they have no meaning, right? This one, these maybe they do, but these 2, 3, there's no meaning here. So I mean, ideally, you should put this inside the function, so that's just local variable. Once you're done with the calculation, you toss them out. Okay. Okay, so it goes here. You pass the purchase object or array here, right? And then you did something here to set the array. Now, what you did here is you actually extract the invoices and the sales amount, right, to out here to 2 separate variables out here. And now, so and I understand what you're trying to do here. So you got them out. So basically, you pull all the data out here in no particular order, right? Then you would do your comparison based on those, either invoice or the sales. And then so here's the loop. You set A to 0. You loop through that. You set the B to the comparison make. So that means you are using the bubble sort, the efficient method, which is good because you're going to sort the large numbers on the right, and then we'll just stop there, and we decrement that each time like you did here. And then you compare the invoices B with B plus 1. If it's so, then you swap them like you did here. The swapping is good. Okay, that's the correct way to do it. You also swap the sales, I see, right? The sales amount, because when you print them out, you want to match the invoice with the sale. I get that. And I think you did the same thing with the down here. So you can see it's like redundant, right? Okay. All right. So let's take a look why. And one of the reasons is like this is a very good case because it requires what's called the hand tracing. Okay, I'm not sure if you've done it before. I'm sure you did. Is to manually trace this code. When you have something like this, it's a bug, right? It's a logic box, a bug. It's just really hard to fix, and you just wonder why. And so I have here a diagram to show you. I'm going to put it right here so we can see. Okay, and I'll explain a little bit more and also I make some recommendation too how you can make it better. So here's the array you created. Purchases has 5 of them. The invoice number, the sales amount, and their appropriate sales tax calculation automatically calculated, right? And so we did that, and now this is what it looks like, and if you want to represent this way. So if I look at purchase of 0, right, so basically it has these properties inside that object of purchase 0, and that's why inside purchase 0 you have the individual properties. I only do up to 2 because I'm out of space here, but all the way to 5. Okay, now what you did though is that you extract the invoice out and put into an invoice array. The amount, same thing. You left out the text. Okay, and that is a problem, and I'll show you why later. So when you did that, then you have these 2 invoice and sales arrays. You got them out here, and all you did was basically you compare the 2, right? You sort them the 2, and then you print them out. Again, it works fine in this case, but when you write program like this, you want to make sure that it works in every case, right? Every case, and that's the whole idea about programming. Okay, so I list here. I'm gonna rewrite I'm just gonna focus on the invoice for now. So this invoice, sort invoice over here, you have here, right? So we have. I'm gonna do this. Let me just close, not close, but okay. I'm gonna try to do that. Okay, so I rewrote this here in this fashion, so it's easier to see, I suppose. Okay, so when you run this program, and we're going to set when A is 0. Actually, I should do. I'm going to do this, and okay, I know it's going to be smaller, but we'll see, and I will maybe shrink this a little bit. Okay, and this one too. If I can shrink it, or I can't. Yeah, we're just going to look at the number here, okay? Okay, so here we go. When I look at 0, when A is 0, right? A is 0, and B is also 0. That's what you have here. And the comparison to make is, I just call it C. When C is 4 because we did a C minus 1, right? A length minus 1. And your other one, it runs all the way from the to the length of that entire sales amount, which is 5. So minus 1. Okay, so when A is 0 and B is 0, you compare the two, right? So you make a comparison here. Sales of B. Let me just close this for now. So sales of B is larger than sales of B plus 1. Is B and B plus 1? Yes. Right? That's true. So I swapped them two. I swapped 4 and then now 5. And then I'm done with that. I also did the sales. I'm not going to do that, but you did that too, right? So you also did that. Swap the 2. And then now B is 1 and you swap the 3 and the 5 because 5 is larger than 3. So you put that here and then 5 here, and then so eventually when you do all the way, you're going to get 2, 1, and then 5 over here. When A is still 1, right? You do that, and then because now we do one iteration inside here already for B, so B's done, and now this is sorted, so we can mark that off, and I'm just gonna put this in. If we can change the color, but. Well, yeah, we'll put that like red. Okay, so that's sorted. And then, so that's done. And then down here, line 58, Okay, the loop here ends here. This outer for loop ends down here, right? If you can see the yellow box here. But you print it out here, so you print the invoice of A. Okay, invoice of A. A is a 0, so you print that out and you get 4,000 because A of 0 is here. And that's what you get. You get 4,200, right? 4,000 is matching sales amount. Okay, so that's that. Then next you move on to the next one, right? Now you decrement the C, so now C is reduced. So I'm just gonna go down here and copy this, round 2. Now A is 1, and then C is 3, right? I'm gonna put it here. A is 1, and then C is 3. Okay. So now we go through the loop again up here. I mean, A is 1 now, and then B is at 0 again. So B is still at 0. So we do another comparison. This time I'm not going to print this one yet. So we did 4 and 3. Yes, so 3 is smaller, so 3 goes here, and then 4 goes here. And we can be 4 and 2. Yes, so 2 is smaller here, so 4 goes here. And then we do 4 and 1, so 1 here and 4 here. And C is done, so the B is done. And then we're done, right? Because now this is no longer true. We're done. We print out A. Print out A. What's A? A is 1. So you get 2,000. Okay? And that's what you get. You got the 2,000. So you got 2,000 and 400. So 4,000 here's 2,400. Okay? And so you can see the process, right? You can see that how that's done. But it's interesting to see the whole thing so you can understand exactly what happened here. So 3 is now here, and this is also the same spot, right? So they're at the same location. They're both 2, and also 2 here. And this is now sorted, so I'm going to mark that off. It's sorted. Then this is not printed here, and we start over again. Okay, so back to B. B is 0 again. So we compare the 2 here. Yeah, so 2 goes here, 3 goes here, and 3 and 1 is, so we swap the 1 and 3 goes here, and then we're done because C is 2 is no longer greater than B. So we're done. We print A again. So A is at 2, so we get 3,000. Okay, and that's what you get. You got 3,000. All right, so far so good. Okay, so now we're done with that, and then we're gonna go two more actually down here, and this time, you know, I'm gonna do this way. So C is over here now. C is at 1, and A is at 3. And this time, this is already sorted, so we're done with that one. And then you're not printing anything yet. So we start over again. The next round, B is at 0 again, right? So we compare this to, okay, so we swap them because 1 is certainly less than 2, so we put that there, and C is 1 is done, so we're done. Okay, we're done. Print that out, so we print 2. No, actually we print A, right? A is at 3 over here, so we print 4,000. Okay, because you're printing A, not C. And that is why you got another 4,000. Okay, you can see I pierced it twice. The first time and then at this time. So the first time and then here. But we're not done, right? So it's still going, which is okay. And so now we do one more time and one more iteration down here. And this time I'm gonna just do this. So this time C is at 0, and then A is over here at when it is 4, which is the maximum. And now 2 is sorted, so we got that done. and then we save that here. And so we go through the process again. B0, B is less than comparison. Yeah, they are, right? So you do comparison, well, it's already sorted, so nothing is done. You ignore the whole part, and now then you go to the next one, and you're done. So we come back out, we print out A, which is now A of 4. You print out 5,000. Okay, and you print out 5,000. All right, and then we're done because A is now 5, and then we're done. So your result is 4,000 matches what you have here. 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 again, and then 5,000. Okay, so the side effects, well, one of the side effects was when you print out the first time. Okay, because you were printing the invoice of A, and initially was A was 0, so we just sorted the first number only, right? Just the first time through. So each time you go through, it may appear to be correct in this case, but it's not because you have that side effect there. So that's how you get 4,000 here and then 5,000 here. Okay, so I'm not going to trace the invoice. If you put a different numbers or something, you may get the same result. The reason why invoice works is because initially your invoice is already sorted. That's why. Okay, so initially it's already sorted 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So you may wonder why it works fine. Well, because it's already sorted. So therefore, there's nothing done, right? Because it's already sorted. When I come here and you look at the for the invoice. Yeah, I look at the wrong one, but it's the same thing, right? You look at the sale amount. Yeah, it would have been invoice. If you look at the sale amount, it's already sorted because it's no longer true. So this whole thing here was actually never run. Okay, because I mean it did. I should say it did run. I mean the if block did not occur because sale of B is always less than sale of B plus 1, right? Because it's sorted initially. Okay. Okay, so I hope that's helpful. So the problem here is, I mean, your sorting method is fine. It is a bubble sort. So by the time you're done, this is also sorted. So you should mark that as red, right? So it's now all sorted. So the to solve this problem is your line number 58. Okay, you should not print that out here. And again, when you deal with functions, look at what you're trying to do here. Okay, I'm sorting the amount. I'm sorting the invoice. So why are you printing that out, right? Okay, unless you have to, you should, but in this case, you should not print it out. Because if you want to print out, sometimes, maybe very rarely, but you should not print it out. If you do, then you want to make sure you print out after the array is entirely sorted. Okay. So once it's all sorted, when it's all done, then outside here you can do another run through a loop, right? Another loop to loop through both arrays and then print them out so that they'll be in the correct order. Okay. So that's the order in this case. So, I mean, your loop is completely fine. It's just that this line 34 and here as well, it throws it off. Just to show you, this also will do the same thing. If you run it, let me just maximize this again. I'll run it one more time, and I will enter 1,000 for invoice, and the amount would be like 1, 2. Just like we'll put 100. Okay, and then this is 2,000, and we'll put this is at 300, and then we'll put here 4,000, and I'll put here 150. Okay, so the invoice is not in order anymore, and we'll put 5,000, and then we'll put like 500, and we'll put here 8,000. So the invoice is ordered, but the sell amount is not. we'll put here maybe like 200. Okay, so let's see if this one works. I'm going to sort by 1. In this case, it should work, right? 1 is exactly the way it is because it's sorted already, as you can see. So there's no problem there. I'm going to try to do 2, and you'll see that actually 2 does work in this case. Interesting. Let's see. All right. Well, I'm trying to replicate what you had earlier, but I'm pretty sure that if you do it in a different way, somehow it's gonna mess up because it's the same thing we do with the invoice. Maybe my numbers not set up in a proper way. Okay, but yeah, so this one seems to be working, but usually I think that is a little bit buggy. And here's my recommendation to you. Okay, so when you do this, again, you want to make sure that you want to leave your objects intact. Okay, so here, which they are, but then what I didn't want you to do is to extract these 2 fields out. Because now, what if I tell you, I say, hey, Paul, I also want you to print the sales tax, right? What do you do then? So, okay, well, you have to come back here and create a 3rd array for the sales tax, and then you also have to put that in here as well, right? And then you have to swap the sales tax here as well in both places. And then you can do one more, because if I ask you to do sort by the sales tax, and then you have another function to sort by sales tax, and you have to have 3 things again being swapped inside here. Okay, that's just 3. What if this purchase has you know, a item name, right? And location where they bought that from. It's associated with the customer. How do you sort all those, right? So that's why this one, I mean, it works fine in this case, but you want to write it so that it works in every time. Okay, and that is why I have this diagram to show you again, okay, in the initial part here. Okay, so you sort not just the content here. I mean, you can leave this as is. You're sorting the entire object. You move everything across over if this invoice is smaller or larger than this one. Okay, so I'm going to swap the entire object over with the position of 1. So you swap those 2 over. Because the index 0 and 1, these don't change. Okay, they always stay the same. What's changing is the actual object assigned to this position. Okay, so the 0 is not really the object. It just stores that object, which is a purchase. Right. So when you swap the entire object with the object in 1, everything gets carried over. Right. Not just the invoice or the amount, everything. And then you can swap the object again, so forth. So by the time when you sort it, the objects will be in their at the right place. The index will no longer be matching the first object, right? Because it's not tied to that, because you cannot move the index over. Not in this case. If you were to do like the key value pair, like a map or hash map, then yeah, you can move the index along with it. Like if you do an array in JavaScript, you can actually move the index because you're not using number, you're using like a name, like right. So in this case, you're just moving the object over. The index will always be 0, and the value will be different because the object is different. Okay, so to do that, you will tweak this here. So I don't need this part here. Okay, you don't need that because you're not gonna need this. Okay, so because the purchase is already came through as an array, right? It came through as an array, so everything is inside the array: 0, 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Okay, so here when you do the comparison, this is fine. This both is okay. So instead of doing invoices here, I would do purchases. Okay, of 0, get. That's why we have those getters and setters, right? Get invoice number. Okay, I mistyped that. Is that what's called? Yeah. Purchases of B. Now this just purchase. Okay, because this purchase here. Purchase of B, and the temp can stay as is since you put on the top here. well, yeah, let's see. The so that's invoice. We do an invoice, yeah. So this will be purchase says of b plus 1 get invoice. You compare the two invoice number, right? I'm comparing the object. So I'm reaching into the object here and compare its invoice number with the next one. And if this is larger, then I will swap the object, okay? Not the index, not the purchase number, the object. So in this case, the temp doesn't work. So instead of put that here, I'll put it in here. So I put here temp. It would be like a purchase type, right? Purchase temp is new. We could just do that here, like that's fine. Purchase temp. And so this temp will be assigned to the purchases of B. Okay, we assign this guy. I'm not calling the invoice number. I replace the entire object. Everything here comes along with it, right? Replace that, and then the purchases of B is replaced with the purchases of B plus 1, the next purchase. So this part is just exactly the same. So you just do the swap here, and then it points to the temp. So in this way, I no longer need this because it's already swapped everything, right? Again, everything comes with it. All these come with it. I just need to swap the purchase. And so I also don't want to print that out because you print after you're done. Okay, so you do this whole thing here, and then you're done. All right, so by the time you're done, then that purchase is sorted. And I'll just print it here so we can see outside of the loop. Okay, when you're done with the loop, you can print that out here. And you would do, how did you print this out? Let's see. You did a print sale purchase. You purchased that display purchase. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna copy what we have here for a little bit, and then I'm just gonna modify it a little bit here. So put that here, print purchase details, and instead of this way, you would have to do a loop. Okay, so you put like for, and then you can do for each if you want to. That's fine too, right? You can say purchase P and purchases. I think that's how you do it, right? And then it's going to print out sys out. This is the invoice number, and plus that per P of get invoice number. Okay, and then I'll put next to it the tab, and then we'll put the sale amount. Okay. Well, actually, you know what? Let's do this. I'll put that above it. Okay, so invoice, and then tab sale amount, and then we'll do another tab for the sales text. See, I can do all of them because now I'm doing the whole object came with it. So the first one will be just P T here. Get invoice, and then we plus the tab. It may not match, but we'll just see. P.get sale amount, right? Plus the tab, plus P.get sales tax. Oops, sales tax. Okay, so I got them all here, and we can save that. Okay, and then we're gonna print it out, run it, and we'll see if it works with the same example that you use. So 5,000 at 100 4,000 at 200, 3,000 at 300, 2,000 at 400, and 1,000 at 500. Okay, so one. Okay, so you can see it's not aligned, but you can see that I sorted the invoice number correctly, and not only that, the sale amount came with it automatically, right? So 1,000 is 500, 1,000 is 500, 2,400, 2,400, and the sales tax come with that as well, as they are correct, right? Calculated. And so probably you want to put like another tab there, but you get the idea. Okay, so save that and run one more time. You will see that again. Put 500, 5,000 at 100, 4,000 at 2, 3,000 at 3, 2,000 at 4, and 1,000 at 5, and 1. So here we go, right? So it's all sorted. So that's how you would do it. So now I'm not limiting myself to just the invoice number or the sale and so on. I can pull all those out because each of these is one object, belongs to an object. And it's just a matter of grabbing what I need to display to be printed, right? To get the cell or exclude or include them. And now I can add more items to this list. It wouldn't matter anymore because I swapped the entire object. Okay, so I hope this is helpful. Great question, by the way. So you can actually rewrite this so that just a matter of sorting by the invoice or the amount, right? If it asks you to do also sort by the text, what would you do, right? You could write one function to do that because you're passing the object to it. Okay, and then inside here you can just check the invoice type. Maybe you add another parameter here, right? And M is the choice. If it's 1, then do a sales. If it's a 2, then do amount. If it's 3, then do tax and so forth. So you can also do that. All right. So let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, I hope this is helpful.